Hello everybody. I want to talk about the solar eclipse. This is going to be my solar eclipse video, but I'm going to start today on 8/8. We had a full moon last night in Capricorn. She's sitting beautifully in Aquarius tonight above Fomalhaut or Thalum. But being as this video is about the sun, that's what we're going to focus on. Most of you have seen the video, the interview that I did with R. Wayne Steiger, but not all of you did. A lot of that information is going to be repeated here, and then a lot of information that we actually never got around to. Like to keep those videos at an hour or less, so we didn't get to put everything in there. Today, Mars is still in Cancer. It feels like you just can't get anything done. We're just going to be wore out, tired, before the Mars and the Sun come out of Cancer. Neither of them like being there. And Mars being double debilitated because it is within 10 degrees of the Sun. So anything you do, if you want to get it done right, it's going to take you a lot more effort and patience. And patience is hard to come by right now with Saturn retrograde. It's a very trying time for all of us. But all of this water right here, there's problems in water, right? The plumber showed up to my apartment today unannounced and tore my kitchen apart at dinner time. So, and then left and won't be back till tomorrow. So, that's kind of what's going on right now. When Mars comes out of Cancer, following the Sun into Leo, it's like it's running a marathon and it's just exhausted at the finish line, and then it just collapses. And then it's going to pick up speed behind the solar eclipse that will occur here at Regulus, and the first week in September it's going to cross that point, and again will find itself having the effects of that eclipse upon Mars itself. As each of the planets move through Leo this year, they will be affected by the degree 4 degrees Leo at which the Sun will be eclipsed by the Moon, which rules this sign right here. It's like the Sun's been hanging out in the Moon's house all month, and when it finally gets home, the Moon shows up and eclipses it. So a lot of water and fire here. This is fire and ice. A lot of this, the Game of Thrones battle couldn't have come back on at a better time when you're dealing with this. This is the point in history where you had the flood, Cancer. This is where the flood would have occurred right here in this sign. Because it puts Aquarius at the top of the zodiac in a position where he looks like he's pouring out his water. It's very pictorial in the way it's done. There is so much going on with this eclipse. The eclipse of totality, there are two. Let me take us there. Okay, this eclipse is important for so many reasons. To start with, there are going to be two. They're total solar eclipses that are going to cross the United States completely, exactly 7 years apart. Which to me, and half of that time, in 3.5 exactly, is the 2020 date that we've been discussing on the winter solstice, where Saturn and Jupiter meet in Capricorn on the winter solstice. So right here, let's just continue and talk about, whoops, just drop this one. pull up another one. Let's pull up this one. They call it the crossroads of totality. Right here at actually Paducah, Kentucky, is where the conjunction point of these two eclipses. Now you have to understand, we haven't had a totality eclipse that crossed America from, we have one that's coming from the west to the east and then from the south to the north that's going to cross this country. That hasn't happened in 99 years. So this is a major marker astrologically, especially biblically, and to me that's the most exciting part. But as R. Wayne Steiger pointed out when we did his interview, was that this crossroads of totality is a stress point for the New Madrid fault, which has been in the news. It's named the New Mother for a reason. It has to do with the Nile, and we've talked about that in other videos, but I'm going to stick to the solar eclipse here, because to me, we've been waiting 2,000 years on this solar eclipse. You'll understand in a moment. Another thing about this eclipse that's coming that we failed to mention was that it's going to cross Yellowstone, just south of Yellowstone. This is like Jackson Hole, Wyoming, right? Yellowstone's right there. It's going to be in the eclipse path partially, but not totality completely, but enough to put some major pressure points on this area. I would be far more concerned about this area, especially with the Schumann resonance has been way up, and the earthquakes here, some moderate, mostly extremely small, are more than we've ever counted. The earthquakes that are happening there right now, you can take a look at it on YouTube or the internet itself. Excuse me. But there is a stress point that I would be concerned about on that date. And this, let's talk about the cross, because this is Aquarius, Thalem, the man on the cross. It's all about that star. Everything started with 4 stars. We've talked about them: Fomalhaut, Antares, Regulus, and Aldebaran. This eclipse is about Fomalhaut and about Regulus. Regulus is Leo. They represent the kings of the earth, even though they're fire and not associated with the element earth. And Aquarius is associated with the king of heaven, the king of air. We need to keep a distinction between these two as we go through the Bible, Babble. Let's go over here to the day that this happened. Okay, let's see what the Bible says about it. And likewise also the chief priest, mocking him with the scribes and the elders, said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be king of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. Now, from the 6th hour, there was darkness over the land until the 9th hour. That's what I want to talk about, is, do you realize that when he was put on the cross that day, there was an eclipse in Aquarius? And now, in the heavenly sign, now we're going to have an eclipse in the earthly king sign. This is the significant point that I want to make. One of the other things we didn't get to talk about in the interview is the fact that this day is going to be exactly opposite on the zodiac calendar as the day that Jesus was actually crucified. That we're told that story because there's an eclipse, and this one lasts 3 hours long. This one that travels across America, it from beginning to end, is going to be more than 3 hours, but from the beginning of an eclipse to the end, you can calculate that about right, especially the way the ancients counted hours, because a few minutes in one, a whole hour, and then a few minutes in the other, when the totality of it all is really not that long. But nonetheless, the point is, getting back here, is this eclipse is going to happen exactly opposite of the day that Aquarius was nailed to the cross in space and time. I mean, I find that quite significant. If that isn't a sign, I don't know what is. At the same time, during all of this, you have a Saturn retrograde, you have a Mercury retrograde, you have Mars combust of the Sun, still in Leo, and it's just a bad day for fire. Like now, you got all of this fire in this water. You have Mercury in fire, and Mercury took a big hit from the Sun last week. Mercury is catching hell, pun intended. Jupiter's not happy in mutable Earth. Saturn is not happy in Scorpio or retrograde, especially retrograde in Scorpio. He rules heaven and earth, and this is water. Pluto in Sagittarius here. Of course, the moon will be in Leo, throwing all that water back at that fire that's in her house right now. And sweet little Venus chugging along here in Libra, which is ruled by Mercury. She likes being in air, so she's okay here. But when the eclipse comes, let's move on over there to the day. Right there. Looks good to me. Yep. This is the point where Mars just crosses the finish line and falls flat on his face. Venus is still in Gemini on that day. So out of all the planets, she is the only one that can actually likes being in the sign she's in. She, Mercury, and Saturn rule all air, heaven, and earth signs. And Gemini being air. Fixed, mutable cardinal air even. Alright. A lot of hype going on about Jupiter in the 23rd, but in my opinion, they haven't done their homework, and if anything is born here from the Virgin, it's more like the sons of God came unto the daughters of men and bare them children who became giants. I assure you, it has nothing to do with the heavenly signs other than Saturn, Venus, and Mercury rule heaven and earth. Jupiter's not even its own sign. This is like rape to me. It's exactly the opposite of what I'm hearing everybody else speculate on when it comes to the elements and who these archons are and the archetypes they represent. Saturn's got a really hard time coming up, but he comes out on top. Come the winter solstice, right here, the Sun and Saturn this December are both going to die here in the Milky Way galaxy. just as the sun dies for 3 days, it's going to be eclipsing Saturn. How crazy is that? That they'll both be born out of the womb of the galactic mother come the winter solstice, again empowering Saturn. Even though this Sagittarius belongs to Jupiter, it's still a fire sign. The sun will like coming into it. Saturn won't be so happy, but he can see the finish line right over here. He'll be here in 2020 with Jupiter. And that's when we will have the 3.5-year marker between the two eclipses that we're dealing with here. Biblically, if this is the 7-year marker of the tribulation of Israel or Jacob, time of Jacob's trouble, then you only have to endure 3.5 years of it. To me, we're coming into a time that's quite spectacular. I'll take you there. Hold on. This is Rick Bed's channel. This is Rick Bed here. He is a premier Vedic astrologer. And he, among others, have been talking about what the Maharishi are saying. This is a short clip from his video, and they're calling it Heaven on Earth. Paramount. It's paramount. And they're talking 2022, but they're talking February of 2020 when Jupiter enters Sagittarius, the Maharishi. Maharishi describes heaven on earth. This is quite incredible. I love this. I love this video. Don't worry about the situation of the world. You must be happy. Very, very happy. Heaven will descend on earth with peace in every home of our world family. Prepare in these next few years for a golden road to enlightenment. Desire anything whatsoever, and you will have it. Anything is possible, and anything means anything. All the miseries of the past are going to be long forgotten memory. It may seem absolutely impossible, but you will have it. Every moment will be increasing waves of fulfillment. It will be ever-increasing bliss, non-static bliss. It will be all good everywhere and non-good nowhere. It will be unbelievable and unimaginable. You will have perfect health, reversal of aging, and physical immortality. No one should conjecture what I will do. What I will do is beyond discussion and beyond the imagination of man. I like the enterprises too. But that's what the Vedic community in the Maharishi are talking about. And this occurs, let's go there, in 2020. Oops. What date? I think they're talking, there we go. We got a Mars-Jupiter conjunction. All through 2020, we have Jupiter and Saturn doing this retrograde dance together back and forth. It's quite interesting. Let's watch it. This is March of 2020. He was talking February when they both come in. But I just want to do the little dance. I'm going to push it by days so you can watch what Jupiter and Saturn actually do here. They almost come to a conjunction and then turn around. Both of them stopped. And both of them are in retrograde. Everything about this next 7 years, starting this month on the 21st with this eclipse, is just some of the most incredible stuff that I have seen since studying astrology, since I first got Stellarium. And I've taken it everywhere. And here we come up to the conjunction. As you can see, Mercury is conjunct the Sun in the Milky Way with, what else is here? And Saturn and Jupiter conjunct in Capricorn. Just Mercury. Yep, so you'll have a double conjunction on that day. A double conjunction. And Mercury is Buddha. Mercury is Hermes Trismegistus. All of the great messengers. I mean, to the Japanese, he's Nike. The winged feet. Wings always denote air signs are the rulers of those signs. Jupiter has no wings. Mars have no wings. But the rest do. They are the fire in the abyss. And when Saturn is eclipsed by Jupiter, it appears that Jupiter is wearing the crown of Saturn. It looks like it has wings. Hence, Nibiru, the planet of the crossing. When actually, in Egyptian, it's Venus that's the planet of the crossing. Because of her transit across the sun, she was the first discovered, even before Mercury. Mercury is called thrice great Trismegistus because he marches across the sun and then will retrograde back and then across it a third time going back. And when that happens, when a Mercury transit happens in a retrograde, that's a really rare sign as well to pay attention to. We're talking rarity, astronomical rarity, like what's occurring in the next 7 years, beginning this month, with a Mercury retrograde. During this period of the Mercury retrograde, we will be doing Mercury retrograde review, which will give a lot of the subs time to catch up. Okay, set it back to today. We're at today now. And we'll go back to the sun. Okay. As we start doing the reviews, it's where Mercury's been in the past month. He backs up to where he was. He wants to talk about the past. If you do your reviews and start reviewing things when this happens, it's like a pop quiz, right? Then you won't suffer as much breakdown as you normally would. It's like Mars. When Mars is in a spot that's throwing a lot of fire at you, you need to channel that energy in a proper way or it's going to be explosive and destructive to you. Right now, Mars is just all wet, right? And when he finally moves into fire, he gets wet again because the moon shows up that rules water. Okay, what else can I say about this eclipse? It is so incredible to me at the implications of it. In the fixed signs, that those of you who are fixed signs, the 4 degrees of Leo, 3-4 degrees of Scorpio, 3-4 degrees of Aquarius, and 3 and 4 degrees of Taurus, you will be affected the most by this eclipse. Some good, some bad. It is bad for the Leo, but great for the Aquarius, right? The Aquarian is usually the self-martyr. Jesus said, "No man takes my life, I lay it down." These are self-sacrificing people. Great humanitarians. But sometimes it can cost them, especially if they're born with a Saturn retrograde. Like people being born right now. if somebody is born during this eclipse, born in a Saturn retrograde, is those in authority over you abuse you. It's not a good thing. Mercury, I mean, a breakdown of communication. Nobody will ever understand a damn thing you're saying. Mercury's in fire, and it's retrograde. It's hopeless. You could scream at the top of your lungs, and nobody will hear you. It's just crazy. Like I said, the only thing that's really happening during this whole thing that's worth anything, Uranus is even over here in Pisces, still transforming the church. It started in the New Testament church, and now it's in the Old Testament church. It's transforming its outer appearance. I can almost like reveiling it, but Venus will still be in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. She gets along just fine here, coming out of her house, out of earth into heaven. She rises from earth to heaven. What else can I say about this? Uranus will be aspecting this conjunction over here in fire, while in Pisces, that's ruled by Jupiter, part of that water and fire team going on. And so it'll just push more of that transformation energy into this eclipse. So there's more transformative transmutation energy pushed into this eclipse. All right. I think that just about covers everything that I wanted to add and say about this eclipse. You got a lot of hype in the media, and yes, this does affect our leaders, our earthly representatives as kings. And because Mercury's in retrograde and Saturn both, you could easily say it's not our current king, but the former, right? You could see Hillary in trouble or Obama in trouble. Obama and Trump both have a Rahu connection to this, and Rahu is going to be the north node of the moon, is what's going to eclipse. It's the connection point, and it's extremely malefic. So that's not good either. But do keep in mind, people, the New Madrid, Yellowstone, any type of false flag the government might want to throw at us. But remember, if this is the marker to the 7.5 years of Jacob's trouble, then we're more than halfway there, because we're only going to go 3.5 of those years. The days would be shortened, or no flesh would be saved, which means that the powers that be are fixing to ramp up in full force to do everything they can. Who are the powers that be? Currently, that's Jupiter, the Sun, Mars, and the Moon. They rule water and fire. Jupiter and Mars rule under the Moon for water, and Jupiter and Mars rule under the Sun for fire. And this indeed is the battle of fire and ice in the sky, opposing where it happened over 2,000 years ago in Aquarius, on the day that Thalum was fixed to the cross. Bank that karma. Commit a random act of kindness every day.